It was a cold, rainy night in a small town in the USA. James had just finished work and hurried to catch the last train home. The station was nearly empty, with only a few flickering lights to brighten the dark platform. The old clock on the wall showed midnight, and the rain was pouring down harder. James heard the screeching sound of the train coming. He sighed in relief as the rusty doors opened with a loud creak. Strangely, no one else was on the train, except for a strange old man sitting in the corner. His eyes were wide open, staring straight ahead, as if he was seeing something that wasn't there. James sat down a few seats away from him, feeling uneasy. The train started moving slowly. The sound of the wheels clattering on the tracks echoed in the empty car. James noticed the lights inside the train were dim, flickering like they were about to go out. As the train moved through the darkness, something felt wrong. The cold air seemed to seep into his bones. James looked out the window, but instead of the usual city streets and buildings, there was nothing but darkness, thick and endless. It was like the train was moving through a void. Suddenly, the lights in the train went out. The entire car was plunged into darkness. James's heart started racing. He heard soft whispers coming from the end of the car. At first, they were too low to make out, but they slowly grew louder. It wasn't English. It was something else, something ancient and evil. James turned his head toward the old man, but he was gone. His seat was empty. Fear gripped him as he stood up and slowly walked down the aisle. "Hello?" he called, his voice shaky. There was no answer, just the constant whispering that seemed to crawl under his skin. Then, out of the darkness, a hand grabbed his arm. James screamed and jerked away, stumbling back. The old man appeared in front of him, but something was horribly wrong. His eyes were pure black, and his face looked twisted, like it was melting. "You shouldn't have boarded this train," the old man whispered, his voice hollow and echoing. James ran down the aisle, desperate to escape. But no matter how fast he ran, the train seemed endless. Doors appeared and disappeared, leading to nowhere. The whispers turned into screams. Shadows danced along the walls, and James felt something following him, breathing down his neck. Finally, he reached the end of the train. There was no door, no way out. James banged on the walls, his heart pounding out of his chest. He turned around, and the old man stood there, smiling a wicked, twisted grin. "This train doesn't stop," the old man said softly. "It never stops." James felt cold hands wrap around his throat, dragging him into the darkness. The next morning, the train arrived at its destination. The conductor stepped inside, but no one was there. The seats were empty, except for a jacket left behind. The conductor shook his head and muttered, "People always forget things." But James was never seen again. The last train kept moving, carrying the lost souls of those who boarded, never to return. Some say, if you listen closely at night, you can still hear the whispers of the lost passengers, trapped forever on the last train.